This election is not over. Far from it. We have only begun the process of obtaining an accurate, honest vote count. We are fighting for the rights of all Americans who want to have faith and confidence not only in this election, but in the many elections to come. There is only one party in America that opposes voter ID. One party in America that opposes verifying signatures, citizenship, residency, eligibility. There is only one party in America trying to keep observers out of the count room. And that party, my friends, is the Democrat Party.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen.
New reports claim the real results of the 2020 U.S. election were found on a computer server that was seized by the U.S. military in Frankfurt, Germany. In a recent tweet, a Virginia congressional candidate shared an electoral map that's allegedly based off of this data from that server. It shows a landslide victory for President Trump with a 410 electoral college vote, including liberal strongholds California and Minnesota. Congressman Louis Gohmert, you just heard from him there. He says the real election results were stolen through vulnerabilities in the Dominion voting system.
Extremely compelling evidence that could be gleaned from Scytl, that's SCYTL. That's a company headquartered in Barcelona, Spain, that was responsible for aggregating all the information from all the machines and whatnot. But now the main headquarters had moved to Frankfurt. That information as to how many votes were switched from Republican for Democrat would have been easily established from the information that Scytl gathered.
Reports say the data gathered by the U.S. military in Frankfurt provides enough evidence to overturn the election and expose the voter fraud committed by the Democrat Party.
In the weeks since the U.S. election, a UK data scientist has been uncovering what she calls suspicious cases relating to the vote counting system. She says she found that votes were added unexpectedly and even taken away. We spoke with her to hear about what she suspects is going on.
Data scientist Sarah Eaglesfield says she discovered unusual changes in vote counts in several states during the 2020 election. According to her research, nearly 60 counties across the United States had ballots removed from the total count after they've been counted. She said that the changes in data indicate the vote counting software, known as Dominion voting systems, is flawed.
I don't think the vote counting software is fit for purpose. I've seen counts that go down, I've seen votes going missing, and I've seen ballots that have been counted 2, 3, maybe 4 times. Therefore, I think that the software, which Texas did not approve, has got many faults that should have been investigated prior to this election going ahead.
Based on her analysis, ballots in Wayne County, Michigan were counted more than once. Numbers showed that ballots with the same voter ID appeared several times in the vote counting software. She explained she feels the discrepancies combined with evidence of dead voters make it impossible for anyone to determine what the real election results were.
Let me put it this way. First of all, I never say anything I can't prove. Secondly, the evidence is coming in so fast, I can't even process it all. Millions of Americans have written, I would say by now. Definitely hundreds of thousands have stepped forward with their different experiences of voter fraud. But this is a massive election fraud. President Trump won by not just hundreds of thousands of votes, but by millions of votes.
Tonight, President Donald Trump is blaming, quote, radical left Democrats and, quote, the fake news media for trying to steal the election while still saying that he won the presidential race.
President Donald Trump continues to strongly dispute the election results, fighting back on several fronts and declaring in a tweet today, I won the election.
We won the election easily. There's no way Joe Biden got 80 million votes. I just said there's no way Joe Biden beat Barack Obama in the black communities of various cities, and then he did very badly compared to Obama in other cities throughout the United States. There's no way it happened. This election was a fraud. It was a rigged election.
To be very clear, he will win if the numbers justify. He'll win the legal theory. The legal theory is that the votes that came in after the close of Election Day should not be counted.
Thanks for joining us, Freddie. What do you make of what's going on? Can you give viewers an update of who's winning the presidential election?
I think, and I may be wrong because I think there are twists and turns to come, but I think Donald Trump is going to win this election.
There is an election axis map going viral on the internet. On this axis map, with all 50 US states, only a handful of states are blue. Most are red, including the Democratic stronghold, California. In retweeting the map, Trump said, "Remember this, Dominion? The Great America Reversal." Judging from this map, Trump has beaten Biden in the election by a landslide at 410 to 128, showing a trend of crushing Biden in the presidential election, with the two again getting 410 for Trump and 128 for Biden.
What we are really dealing with here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through Venezuela, Cuba, and likely China in the interference with our elections here in the United States.
Sidney went on to say, I'm paraphrasing here, that Trump got so many votes that night, on November 3rd, on election night, that it broke the algorithm. It broke the system. Trump got so many votes that night that it broke their rigged voting system. And that is why they had to shut down the counting by the Dominion systems, and they had to switch to their plan B and start trucking in vans full of fake mail-in ballots in order to try and win the election. But they still don't stand a chance. They have 8 major allegations in this legal battle. First, the poll watchers were not allowed to inspect the mail-in ballots. Second, there is legal inequality, double standard, in the various Democratic electoral regions. Number 3, voters were being represented to vote. Giuliani said that in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the provisional ballots were supposed to be submitted by people who were in line to vote, but they were told that they had already cast their ballot.
Why did it happen 15,000 times that people in Pittsburgh walked in to vote and they had already voted according to the Democrat election machine? Did they forget? That many people with bad memories in Pittsburgh? Or is the following correct? That as witnesses will testify, they were instructed by the Democrat bosses when they had a ballot in which there was no one registered, just assign it to somebody. Just assign it to Rudy Giuliani. So when Rudy Giuliani won't show up to vote. And if he does show up to vote, we'll give him a provisional ballot.
Number 4, election officials were told not to look for ballot deficiencies, but to change the date the ballots were received. Giuliani has an affidavit of an official whose supervisor said that incomplete absentee ballots should be counted and that the date the ballots were received should be changed to before Election Day.
This witness goes on the witness stand and she will say, I was told to adjust the date on the absentee ballots.
Number 5, votes were repeatedly counted. In Michigan, there were 60 witnesses who verified their ballots were promptly cast and a single ballot was counted 2 or 3 times. Number 6, Wisconsin counts absentee ballots that are not pre-approved. Giuliani pointed out that Wisconsin's absentee ballots rules are more strict than most other states. However, 60,000 ballots in Milwaukee and 40,000 in Madison were absentee ballots that were not pre-applied for, but were all counted. Number 7, overvoting. Some precincts have more votes than the number of registered residents. According to a netizen, the 2018 census shows Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania had a total population of 301,048 people, but the number of votes is 691,434, which is twice more than that of the population. Number 8, voting machines and software are linked to the socialist regime in Venezuela, and George, you all know his last name, right? Soros, the sugar daddy of the leftists in the United States.
You couldn't possibly believe that the company counting our vote, with control over our vote, is owned by 2 Venezuelans who were allies of Chavez, are present allies of Maduro, with a company whose chairman is a close associate and business partner of George Soros, the biggest donor to the Democrat Party, the biggest donor to Antifa, and the biggest donor to Black Lives Matter.
This is a George Soros-funded anarchist effort, and we have to rid ourselves of this naive view that it's anything but. This is not about protest. It's not about inequality. It's not about any of those things. This is a George Soros-funded assault on American values.
Yeah, look, the number one problem in almost all these cities is George Soros.
I'm not sure we need to bring George Soros into this. I was going to say you get the last word, Speaker.
He paid for it. I mean, why can't we discuss the fact that millions of dollars he spent?
I agree with Melissa. George Soros doesn't need to be a part of this conversation.
Okay. So it's verboten.
All right, we're going to. Okay, we're going to move on.
I'm not no Black Lives Matter supporter. Like,
you're not?
No, absolutely.
Why not?
Because it's not our movement. This is a movement that was given to us by, George Soros and his fucking boys.
Rachel, at the risk of sounding like a Supreme Court opinion, agreeing in part and dissenting in part, I loved what Joy said.
And we are proud of what we do and the success that we've achieved.
Gathering and reporting the news has been my life's work.
Free press isn't a luxury. It's essential to develop and, more importantly, to maintain democracy.
The news, and we talk to the newsmakers, and we aim to bring you the whole picture.
Can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will win Pennsylvania and Nevada.
The kid from Scranton becomes the next leader of the free world.
The campaign in the middle of the programming tonight, sending out an attack piece, hit
voting machines. And this is a real issue.
His refusal to admit it, President Trump's time in the White House is coming to an end.
It's the end of a tumultuous presidency.
So it's been a bad week for them, and the week isn't over yet. President Trump added new lawyers.
Even all that much about Donald Trump, although he certainly made clear.
Any recent election, no evidence of people doing what the president says they did.
And what about doom and gloom and dark winter basement bunker? Oh, the ever cognitively struggling Joe.
I have never considered before, are we going to be okay?
Our collective patience and critical thinking skills tomorrow.
Again, this election process has worked exactly as expected, exactly as expected, exactly as expected, exactly as expected.
Many of you may be wondering what you can do to help during this great awakening taking place. One small thing you can do to help get this message out to thousands of more people for their great awakening is to hit that subscribe button and the like button and leave us a nice message.
We are calling for a great reawakening of America, a resurgence of confidence, and a rebirth of patriotism, prosperity, and pride. And we are returning to the wisdom of our founders. In America, the people govern, the people rule, and the people are sovereign. What we have built here in America is precious and unique. Each of you enters service at a truly exciting time for our country. For we are witnessing the great reawakening of the American spirit and of American might. We have rediscovered our identity, regained our stride, and we're proud again. Prosperity is booming at home. Our economy is the strongest it's ever been. And our country has regained the respect that we used to have long ago abroad. Yes, they're respecting us again. Yes, America is back. We have begun the great rebuilding of the United States military. And we've just secured a $700 billion, largest ever amount of money to support our great warfighters. And we are going to be stronger than ever before. We will have the strongest military that we've ever had, and it won't even be close. And when did we need it more than now?
From signs at political rallies to online forums filled with talk of mind control and lizard people, the dark web movement called QAnon, once only found in the fringe parts of the internet, now on Amazon's best-selling book list, outranking authors like F. Scott Fitzgerald and Dr. Seuss. Anonymously written, the book contains a compilation of unproven radical conspiracy theories suggesting high-ranking Democrats are part of a cult that eats children, claiming the government created AIDS and saying it's also behind the movie Monsters, Inc. Part of a government plan, it claims, to collect children's blood and give government officials a more youthful look. The book is getting 5-star reviews, including several from people who admit they haven't even read it. But Amazon's algorithm seems to unintentionally reward that, pushing the book up the bestseller list and in effect promoting baseless conspiracy theories. For now, the unfounded and dangerous conspiracy theories lifted from the dark web, one of Amazon's best-selling books.
And to the thousands of people who have already subscribed and left those wonderful messages over the past couple weeks, thank you very much.
My fellow Americans, I stand here
with all that feel as I do, disgusted with this lie that Biden has been chosen. As if we all don't know the truth. And when one tries to deceive, we know that one can't get away with it. There will be a price to pay. The ones who are jumping for joy now are jumping toward the horror they will be in for, because I know that the promises being made from the left to the American people will never come to be. My friends of all colors, races, and religions, this is now our greatest fight since the Civil War. The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil, corrupt, and they want to tear down this nation. We must not allow this. We must fight this corruption that has taken over and fight for the good that seems lost. Let us give our trust to God.
Locking you in your home while letting far-left rioters roam free. The Biden lockdown will mean no school, no graduations, no weddings, no Thanksgiving, no Easter, no Christmas, no 4th of July, and no future. If you want a vaccine to kill the virus, a job to support your family, and freedom to live your life, then you go and cast your ballot for President Trump.
Sometimes I think it's God talking to me. Dreams are important. They can give us a window to what's going on inside.
I got this one in 2011.
The Commander-in-Chief prophecy?
God is telling us to pray for our country, its leadership, and those in authority over us. That's what we need to do.
They're going at him tooth and claw. What if I'm wrong?
If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, then will I hear from heaven and heal their land.
Many have said that America's finished. If you look at it, it looks like the handwriting's on the wall. Upheaval in Washington, D.C., the political system broken, our financial system is in an upheaval, from our inner cities to our kids in school, from high schools to primary schools, and even now where people don't even know which bathroom they should use. So America's in a major upheaval that's taking place, but I believe that we have a solution, and we're going to be sharing some of the answers to the problems that people are facing, and that there is a way out, that all is not lost, all is not done. I don't believe America's finished, and you're going to find out all about that, because there's another great awakening that's about to happen.